Look at your neighbors. And neighbor, the preacher's going to talk about if these walls could talk. Yeah, if these walls could talk. Now I know they can't, but if they could, I wonder what these walls would say. Somebody listening to me now, you already ready to hang up because you know the walls will tell us something. A little bit about what would happen if these walls can talk. First of all, they are weeping and they are wise walls. Oh yeah, you see, because the nature of them is such that they have seen many sorrows and they've heard many sermons. Have I got a witness here? That there have been many who have come in these walls broken and busted and hurting and down and depressed, bereft and lost and confused. And these walls have been observing for many, many years. They've seen many who have been sorrowful. And I don't know about you, but I know these walls have had occasion to see me in my sadness. These walls have seen me when I was feeling down and dejected. These walls have seen many sorrows, as many have had to come in here and say goodbye to loved ones. These walls have seen some sorrows. These walls saw you when you lost your job and you had to come to church anyhow. These walls saw you when somebody walked out of your life and you had to come to church. These walls saw you when you lost your car and the man drove off and put it back on the lot, but you had to come to church anyhow. These walls have seen many sorrows. Have we got a witness here? But these walls have also heard many sermons. Have got a witness. These walls have heard sermons of hope. These walls have heard sermons of faith. They've heard sermons exalting God as creator and lifting Christ as redeemer. These walls have heard sermons meant to lift your head, to straighten you out, to clean you up. These walls have heard many sermons. And so in the midst of the sorrows that it has seen and in the midst of the sermons it has heard, these walls have become weeping and wise walls. But the problem is they can't talk. Have I got a witness? They can't tell you how they feel for you. They can't tell you how they want you to be encouraged. These walls can't talk. But I would submit that if these walls could talk, they'd do a whole lot of our talking for us. Have I got a witness here? These walls in the life of Jeremiah and Israel, the temple of God, they would applaud their worship place, the temple of God here. They're also, these walls are convicted and they are consecrated walls. Yes, they've witnessed some things and they've become convicted about some things. They have been consecrated down in their heart concerning some things. These are consecrated walls, and the walls simply wonder why then aren't the people who come in the walls consecrated in their heart, and why aren't the people who come within the ranks of the walls real and sincere? Why aren't the people who come in the walls so convicted and so moved that they don't leave out of here and go back to business as usual? That somebody who just left the walls, before you get in your car, you got to get cussed out. Have I got a witness? And you just left the walls. There are some who can't hardly wait until we leave these walls today so you can go back to business as usual. The walls say, I'm consecrated. It ought to have an effect on you. Have I got a witness? Well, why are these walls consecrated and convicted? You see, because these walls have been moved by many prayers. Have I got a witness? Oh, they've heard some prayers and they've been moved by many prayers. And I come by to tell somebody, prayer ought to move you. Have I got a witness here? Prayer, someone has said when you pray, you're in touch with three worlds at the same time. That your prayer goes up to God, it's worship, and your prayer goes out to man, it's work, and your prayer goes down to the devil in warfare, so that when you're praying, you're worshiping, working, and warring all at the same time. You ought to come to a place where you're moved by prayer. Have I got a witness? These walls have been moved by prayers, but they also have been touched by testimonies. Have I got a witness? These walls have heard some testimonies. Perhaps these walls have heard your story. Have I got a witness? Perhaps these walls have heard how the Lord brought you through. Perhaps these walls have heard how the walls held your hand. The walls have heard you say the Lord was with you in your time of trouble. You said it and the folk heard it, but guess what? The walls also heard you say it. Have I got a witness? So they've been touched by many testimonies, and since they've been touched by testimonies and moved by prayers, they've become convicted and consecrated. Also, they are unpredictable and they are unpenetrated. That's what makes them confused. You see, because they don't know, they can't predict who will come in. Are you walking with me? They never know who will come in. You know, when they get to watching, you know, there are some, well, it looks like they're going to come every Sunday. But some of us, these walls keep on looking. And these walls said, I hadn't seen you in a little while. Have I got a witness? Well, I keep on looking, and I see there's some inconsistencies in your service. The walls would say, I keep on looking, and there are some infrequencies in your service and your commitment. These walls say it's hard to predict what the folk will or will not do, but the Lord wants somebody. Are you listening here? Who can be consistent in their service. The Lord wants somebody who will serve him in season and out of season. The Lord wants somebody who, when they got peace, they can praise, and when they got trouble, they can praise. When they're up, they can praise. When they're down, they can praise. When they're fed, they can praise. When they're hungry, they can praise. These walls said, it's hard to predict some of y'all. Have I got a witness here? These walls are confused. Like last week or the week before, I saw him praising, but something happened along the way. Looked like something stole his praise. Have I got a witness here? You know the God we serve is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. You know your good fortune might change, but that don't mean your God has changed. Have I got a witness? Your friends might change, but that don't mean God has changed. Your popularity might change, but that don't mean your God has changed. Your money might start looking funny, but that don't mean God has changed. We ought to praise him in the good times and praise him in the bad times, lest we confuse these walls. That the Bible address what goes on within the walls. The Bible says that they had perverted the temple. They had gone about some activity in the temple of God that did not please the prophet or God. And the prophet is in good company with Jesus himself when the Lord saw the money changers corrupting the temple of God. They were down there in the church, and folk who wanted to offer up some animal or some bird for a sacrifice, they showed up and they didn't have nothing to offer. So they were met at the church, and while they were coming into church, somebody would sell them a dove. Have I got a witness? Somebody would sell them a pigeon, and somebody would sell them a goat so they can go inside that old temple and tabernacle and place their dove and their pigeon and maybe their goat or sheep on the ox. And Jesus said, my house is a house of prayer, but you made my house a den of thieves. You're selling and you're robbing and you're doing everything within the walls of my church. And so the Lord said, clean it up. You can't do anything inside the walls of my church. Have I got a witness? I don't know about you, but I believe God's house is holy. We ought to respect the house of God. God's house is where his presence dwells. And we ought to respect the holy house of God. But I come by to tell you, you can't expect his house to be holy if your house ain't. Have I got a witness? If your house ain't holy, you can't track all the hell at your house into the house of God. You got to get your house. Have I got a witness? So that God's house can become a house of prayer. Have I got a witness? You know that hate you got inside the walls of your house, you transfer that same hate and bitterness inside the walls of your car. And then when you get out your car, you transfer that bitterness, that hate and strife inside the walls of your church. How can you expect the Lord's house to be a house of prayer when your house ain't one?